Hi, I'm Miss Tekin. I'm a third grade writing teacher, and today I will be reading The Pumpkin Book by Gail Gibbons. Pumpkins come in all shapes and sizes. Pumpkins are members of the squash family. There are many different kinds of pumpkins: small pumpkins, big pumpkins, round pumpkins, tall pumpkins. Some of these pictures explain the different types of pumpkins. This one is called the Connecticut Field. This tiny one is the small sugar pie. This bumpy one is called Red October. Gardeners and farmers call them pumpkin varieties. Some pumpkins have a smooth skin and others have lots of bumps, just like the Red October pumpkin. In the springtime, when the sun's rays begin to warm the soil, it is planting time. Some gardeners turn the soil to get it ready to plant a small pumpkin patch. A pumpkin patch is where pumpkins are grown. Some farmers use their plows to slice through and turn over the dirt. The field will eventually be a huge pumpkin patch. So if we look at this picture, there's green leaves on the tree. That means that this is happening in the summer. The soil is ready. It is time to plant the pumpkin seeds. The beginning of a pumpkin is curled up inside each pumpkin seed. Food is stored there too. The seed has a seed coat on the outside to protect it. The bigger the seed, the bigger the variety of pumpkin that will grow. This picture is a diagram. It shows labels to tell the different parts of the seeds: the beginning, the food, and the seed coat. Sometimes pumpkin seeds are planted in rows. Other times, they are planted in small circular areas called hills. Several shallow holes are poked into this hill, and one pumpkin seed is dropped into each hole and covered with dirt. Each hill should be about 3 feet to 6 feet apart to give the plants lots of room to grow. A pumpkin seed will not sprout until the dirt is warm and water has soaked through to soften its coat. Once the seed coat breaks open, a root begins to grow down into the soil. It takes the water and minerals from the soil for food. After about 1 week, 2 leaves will appear where each pumpkin seed was planted. These smooth leaves are called seed leaves. They begin to make more food for the plant from the sunlight and the air. In this picture, you see the tiny little 2 seed leaves poking out. That's the beginning of the plant. After a few days, small pumpkin vines leaves will appear. These leaves look different. They are prickly and they have rough, jagged edges. More new vine leaves grow. Stems begin to grow and twist, crawling along the ground as they become vines. The vines grow thicker and thicker. They grow curly tendrils that wrap themselves around the other parts of the plant to help spread the vines. Gold-colored flowers begin to bloom. A pumpkin seed begins to grow when a grain of pollen is transferred from plant to plant. This is called pollination. Sometimes pollen moves from flower to flower when the wind blows. Bees and other insects help pollinate too. Pollen rubs off their bodies as they travel from flower to flower in search of nectar. So you see the bees buzzing around here. When you see that in the summer, that's them pollinating different plants. The flower has a small green ball beneath its blossom. When the flower is pollinated, the little ball begins to grow. It is a very, very small pumpkin. Over time, it becomes bigger and bigger and bigger. The pumpkin skin begins to turn from green to orange. All of the pumpkins in the pumpkin patch begin to turn orange. So when I look in this picture now, I see the leaves are now green and yellow and red. It means that it's starting to become fall. In fall, when the vines begin to dry up and die, it is harvest time. It usually takes 80 to 120 days, depending on the variety, for a seed to grow into a ripened pumpkin. It is ready to pick, and it feels hard on the outside and sounds hollow when it is tapped. Often, shears are used to clip the pumpkins from their vines, leaving about 3 inches of stem. The stem helps to keep the harvested pumpkin from getting moldy. During the fall, more and more pumpkins of many shapes and sizes appear roadside at stands and in stores. Sometimes awards are given for the biggest and prettiest or the strangest pumpkin grown. Kind of like this weird bumpy one right here. The biggest pumpkin ever grown was in New York State in 1996. It weighed about as much as a small car. It was 1,061 pounds. At fairs, there are pumpkin pie tastings and contests too. So if you were reading this book, you could see the steps to teach you how to carve a pumpkin, which some people like to do. There are many different ways to carve pumpkins. It is great fun to carve pumpkins into what you want them to be. Funny pumpkins, scary pumpkins, beautifully carved pumpkins. Sometimes people place a candle or a light inside to light the pumpkin so it will shine on Halloween night and has a nice safety reminder to always have an adult help you place the light or candle. Other people decorate pumpkins with paint, glitter, and other decorations. These pumpkins can last a long time because they haven't been carved. No two pumpkins are alike. They each have their own personality. Here they are, all lined up on Halloween night. They are a glowing sight to behold. Isn't it amazing that all of this began with a few small pumpkin seeds? Glow, pumpkins, glow. Thank you for listening to my book.